Hello, 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 hello. Anyway, welcome to live webinar, How to Build a Strong Personal Brand. Last week I talked about how to build and maintain a strong brand, generally for companies and stuff, and today I want to talk about personal. Anyway, I still got a couple of seconds to let everybody get in, logged in, get the notifications. We're live on LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. Facebook is NC WebDev, and YouTube is Global Productions channel. I mean, something we've been running shorts on. So anyway, it's our next episode of NC WebDev Digital Marketing Series webinars. We do that every Thursday, 2 o'clock. We're here. Okay, 3, 2, 1, and go. So, welcome to our live webinar, How to Build a Strong Personal Brand. That's the topic of the day. On the welcome screen or banner, you see its vision, personality, value, authenticity, commitment, and differentiation. Authenticity and differentiation may sound the same, but they're not really. Authentic just means original, and different just means if 15 people doing something else, you want to do something different. And it doesn't matter if it's authentic, you just want to do it differently. But usually those two come together as one. Anyway, let's get on. What is a personal brand? It is the unique image, reputation, and perception that people have of an individual. Of an individual? Yes, you. So, on the left-hand side, we have sort of personality, values, expertise, and appearance. Those are the 4 categories you could be divided into. It depends on the industry. For example, appearance will be important in acting. Expertise, of course, in science and engineering fields, tech fields as well. Values is if you're working with the communities and stuff, and personality is just if you want to make it about yourself, and it's kind of like how you, for example, I don't know, like a diplomat would have a personality would be important with a diplomat. So, that's just how you break these down. So you want to focus on something like if you're going to be, if you want to become a famous actor, I guess your expertise in high tech will not be really that relevant because mostly people will want to look at you and they're not going to really worry about what you know. And a great example is Dolph Lundgren, who made it as an actor, but he does have a chemistry, I think it's even master's, but never really promoted that. Nobody really knew. I mean, he studied, I believe it was MIT, and he got the chemistry degree, and everybody knew him for Drago in Rocky 4. So, that's how that brand is. So expertise doesn't matter if you have big muscles and want to be on TV. So then everything gets divided by or gets decided by you need to achieve certain goals that you're going to set for yourself. You need to have you need to especially in the values and expertise, you want to become an authority, and you want to be recognized, and you want to be an identity. You need to create your own identity or an alter ego. That's a lot of actors do that, for example, as well. They create a different name, and then they create a character behind that, and it's sort of like acting. I mean, personal brand is sort of like acting, but you got to be authentic in what you're going to be doing, what you're going to be portraying, the role you're going to play. So, introduction, how to get to it. Consistency, frequency, and visibility. That's what I broke it down to. There's a lot of other components, but these 3 topics, generally, it's like you don't build a brand in a day. 6 months to a year is the minimum. Even I was watching this newscaster. She had, I forget her name now off the top of my head, but she's on Newsmax, and she did a video in 2018 or something like that, just before she made it into Newsmax. And it was an interesting story because she said, I didn't have a job. I was just a graduate from journalist school, School of Journalism, whatever that was. And all the names and stuff doesn't matter. I don't want to name people too much, but she said, I want to get into news on TV. And she met with this marketing guy, and she says, how do I get the job? And he's like, well, what do you do? What are you doing to get noticed? Are you posting blogs? Are you doing? She says, no, I'm not doing anything. Well, he said, well, you need to you need to make, like, nobody cares about you. You got to let them know that you're out there, and you got to show them that you know what you're doing for them to notice. And so she says, I took that to heart, and I basically started posting, started doing stuff, started becoming active, and started showing the world that I actually know what I'm doing. And she said, for 6 months I was doing it for no reason whatsoever. Nobody noticed. After 6 months, it was people started noticing, and within another 6 months, she was basically at Newsmax, starting off because people noticed. Because when you're out there, you're posting, you're building your digital brand, or you're building your online presence, people notice. But it just takes a long time. It's not something you're gonna start working today and tomorrow you're gonna see results. So that's the consistency, frequency. It's up to you, and it's up to the competition how fast you want to grow. And visibility, no one knows. There's 8 billion people on the planet. How do they know that you are the one they need? So, consistency, how to get to it. Consistency, again, as I just mentioned, it is not an overnight process. And it takes months or even years to establish any brand, much less a strong one. So, if you want to start working on it, well, and you're like, well, I'm not sure if I want, but if you know what you want, if you know what your goal that you're going to achieve, you start working on it today. Even if you do like one article every week or every 2 weeks, or you get involved in some networking events, you go see people, either you meet them in person or you do it online. I mean, networking online, digital marketing, we just covered that too. I mean, what is digital marketing? It's good for networking. Whether you're going to use Meetup, whether you're going to use LinkedIn, it's networking. So then the next thing, the speed on how you achieve those goals. Well, the amount of effort and resources invested and the level of competition in your field kind of decide of how fast you're going to be moving. And the second thing besides networking is the social media algorithms. They're like, every platform is different, and every platform requires something else, and you just got to learn how to work with that platform. Because again, if you want to be an actor, LinkedIn may not be the best option for you. Instagram or YouTube will probably give you a better visibility. And then you got to learn how to post on each one of those and how fast and stuff. And also, with the consistency, you need to track it by audience engagement. I mean, the audience engagement is very important, because when you put something out there and people don't engage with it, it slows down your progress, but it may be also it's showing you that either you're not doing it right, or you're in the wrong industry, or you're presenting yourself the wrong way. So if you don't see much engagement, kind of change the message, or kind of look for more, things that will be closer to what, or closely aligned to the goals you're trying to achieve. So, that's consistency. And like I said, six months to a year is about how long before you can actually notice the first significant differences. Now, frequency. Frequency is important because it's balance between staying top of mind and avoiding overwhelming your audience. That's what I was talking about, the engagement before as well. It's on the list here. Quantity over quality, platform algorithms, audience engagement, and test and measure. Always test and measure no matter what you do. And don't be afraid to experiment. Like, we're doing the YouTube Shorts on Global Productions. One time we did 2 shorts, then we tried to skip, we tried to do some things. It's like, we see the algorithms, how it works, and then we use keywords, and some of them we use longer descriptions, etc. So always test and measure. And then we do 1 a day, but sometimes we tried to do 2 a day, and we noticed that there wasn't much of a difference. I was like, well, it's just extra work, and it's really not much of a difference. And then maybe we'll try to start trying to skip some days. I don't know. It's just, again, it's algorithm. You got to learn that they adjust it also. The platforms, they adjust it all the time. But the thing is it's always quality over quantity. You don't want to be putting millions of articles. I mean, I see some people on LinkedIn, for example, now. Again, I don't want to name, but this girl is there, and she's like, oh, I'm going to post a lot of stuff. And after a week, she's like, well, I'm kind of getting drained by this. And also the audience is probably exhausted from watching her. And so she doesn't get that much either feedback or engagement or whatever else. So, and the next one, the platform algorithms, is something I've been talking about. And I have their example, Instagram. I'll tell you what, and Instagram is exactly perfect thing because I was building it a couple of years ago. And what happened was on Instagram, if you want to post every single day, you're not going to get as many likes. You're not going to get as much engagement because you first need to post something that's high quality, of course, and that's thought through and you use the right hashtags and stuff like that. That's fine. But if you post something the next day, most people on the feed will not go to the next one. All they see is the first thing or the last thing, which is the first on top of the list. But that's what they use. That's what they look at. That's what they see. So if you want people visiting your profile, and only looking at the first thing, it would have to be really awesome for them to scroll down, but most of them will not anyway. Just, that's the way Instagram works. So what you do is you don't post every single day to get bigger reach per post. If you want to achieve that, then what you do is you post Monday, Thursday, Sunday, or something, Monday, Wednesday, Saturday. You'll find your frequency. There's always different platforms have different, also that's a part of the algorithm, is like the best times to post when most people are most active in your region or in your industry. So all that is statistically analyzed and documented, so you can just follow that and watch it and just play with it. But yeah, if you want to put a lot of content out, you could do it every day, but you're going to see less of a result. So you may want to tone it down because the audience then sees too much of whether it's pizzas, burgers, or you doing the same thing. It's also coming about. It's also coming down to really, will it be engaging enough? Maybe it will, maybe it won't. But if they see too much of one thing, they'll get tired and they won't notice you anymore. And the algorithms will just spit you out. And all of a sudden, just did that on our YouTube channel. I mean, had a nice curve going up. Then we kind of made boring things, and then now it's picking up again because we started coming up with more original ideas than the generic stuff. You always need to put out generic content. That's just what it comes down to, but it's not going to be as engaging. So get a good mix in there. And yeah, always engage the audience. See how the audience engages. If it doesn't engage, you may be doing too much or you may be doing too little. So watch these things and experiment. Visibility. As I said, nobody cares. So you got to go out. You got to put yourself out there. You can't be an introvert and basically do marketing or let people know that you're alive. I mean, you need to define yourself. Number one way to define yourself, unique skills and values. Whatever that industry is that you're involved in, you need to have unique skills and values in order for you to get noticed. And also, don't be afraid to talk about your strengths and weaknesses. A lot of people say, well, I'll only say the positive. No problem. You can always say, listen, I'm really good in this, but this is not something that I'm very good at. I could probably learn it, but maybe I'm not the best fit, so I'm going to have to find somebody else for it. Like, for me, I'm pretty good at content. I would say I'm pretty amazing in content. Anyway, that's, a little self-praise, but I come up with a lot of stuff. I have good ideas, and I've been working with text for over 20 years, and that's my strength. And I understand WordPress, I understand coding somewhat, basic knowledge, but that is not my strength. I have a guy that does that. So, that's just me. I mean, I'm not gonna, if you try to portray like I'm a know-it-all, I know everything about everything, and I know things that you don't even know that I know that are there to know, and it's like, come on, no. You know some things, you're good at this, and you're not that great at that. And then it comes down to the second point is strong social media presence. I mean, we could talk about that all day. And how much? Do you want to have 50 million posts? I mean, I'm watching some of these big guys, and he's saying, well, all you need to do, it's so simple. It is very simple. It's so easy. To build a strong YouTube channel, all you need to do is post 21 videos a week. I'm like, really? Like, it takes a couple of hours to do each video. So to make 21 videos, even if they're going to be shorts, which takes a lot less time, 21 pieces of content just in video department, not talking about text and everything else, yeah, it's an expensive and time consuming thing. So yeah, if you're gonna try to outwork this guy who thinks that, oh, it's so simple, well, it is simple for you who's got 27 team members that are working on your stuff. Yeah, then it makes sense. But just building a strong social media presence, all you really need to do to start is just post. Doesn't matter what it is, it's got to be relevant, quality, blah, 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 all that other stuff. But just put it out there. But put it out there so that, in a way, as I talked about, in the consistency and the frequency, but keep putting it out. Even one video a month is better than nothing. Because, again, you're building a long-term online presence and your brand. So if you want to be strong, you got to put a lot of content out there. Can you do it in 1 month? Sure, but yeah, you want to invest $100,000 into it? That's what it comes down to. But no, you spread it out over 6 months to a year, and all of a sudden you do little by little. You don't notice much, but like I said about the example with the lady, she's on Newsmax now. A year later, in the first 6 months, she was like, "I'm doing this stuff. Nobody's noticing. I'm not getting any results. Does it make sense?" Yes. And then now you ask her, whatever, 5 years later, what's she gonna tell you? Like, she's a Newsmax newscaster. So I guess it did make sense to do something or invest into something, your time and your money for 6 months, because 5 years later, she's still reaping the rewards. And I'm going to talk about that next week. Actually, I was just thinking about topics, and the next week's topic is going to be why you must invest into digital marketing. And these are some of the examples. I mean, just the digital marketing, everybody goes looking on Google for things. And if you're not there, if you don't build up your strong presence in the different platforms, because then they will all come together in search engines and on social media, you're not out there. So you're building a strong social media presence. You pick the right platform that aligns with you, that aligns with your values or your industry, your ideas, or whatever else. Then, of course, it all comes down to relevant content, relevant and engaging and interesting. It's, just say, well, we do digital marketing. Well, what is it? Well, it's this stuff online. Well, how do you get to it? Well, we post stuff. That's interesting, but it's not much a discussion starter. So, and then when you go onto social media, get involved in discussions and do make connections with people in your industry. Because when you make connections with people in your industry, what happens is you position yourself as an expert, because whatever you put on social media gets read by others that are not experts, that are looking for your services. But by interacting with somebody who is coined or branded as an expert, and you're having a serious conversation with him publicly, puts you in the position of an expert as well, because you're able to have a meaningful, logical conversation. You don't want to be doing this guerrilla marketing saying, 1,000 videos, views, free, $100. I just got something. Do you want Instagram followers? $120 for 5,000. For 5,000 followers for $120. That's what that offer was. I'm like, but that's not building a online presence. It's just spamming, basically. But yeah, discuss, get into discussions, get to networking, do all that stuff. And then the best way to have permanent presence without the need for social media or the dependency on social media or other platforms is create your own website, or just start a blog on another website that provides space for bloggers, because that's where you can really express yourself. That's where you could get yourself out there, get yourself known, put your brand out there, your thoughts, your ideas, your inner thoughts, and whatever you want to share with the world. Of course, you don't want to share stuff, very deeply personal stuff sometimes. Sometimes it helps, sometimes it does not. But that's, again, it's what you want to, how you want to brand yourself. Put it out there. And a website or a blog is awesome. And then, because what that relates to is another video I saw by a marketer, and he says, the title on that is SEO is not dead. And he's right. He's right, because as much as people talk about all social media and everything else, when you write your blog and you write about 600 words per article and you make it relevant on the news with the stuff that people talk about, your opinions on it, and all of a sudden over a period of time you start building up this presence, and then you get in, it's a great channel. Google and people Googling stuff is a great channel, and you want to be out there. So don't underestimate SEO. I mean, people are like, oh yeah, I need to be on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, stuff. Well, blog is basically SEO, and if you do it right, you'll be out there and people will see you. So don't think of SEO as being dead. And if number 4 here is vlog. You should always consider YouTube across all platforms. Why? Because video marketing across all industries and across whatever goals you have and whatever industry you want to be in, a vlog is always nice, or any kind of a presence on YouTube, because after all, YouTube is still the number 2 search engine in the world. So, and people look at YouTube, people look at videos, people share videos. It's the number 1 shared content, and it takes up like 80% of all website traffic is just consumer video stuff. And I did a webinar on this. I've talked about it in the past. And so if you skip in, you don't have to be on YouTube. You could be on other, there's other platforms that provide, space for putting out videos. But YouTube is also a search engine, and it's number 2. So, if you want to start some kind of a vlog or some kind of messaging like we're doing, Global Productions YouTube Shorts, we're out there. We got 3,000 new viewers over the last 28 days. Or now it's more, now it's like 40 days. But so we're past I think like 5,000 views over the last couple of months, a month and a half. So yeah, vlog is always important. Anyway, so that's my 20 minutes of fame today, and hope to see you next week. Thank you for your attention, and have a great rest of the Thursday. Bye-bye.